So we are actually going to get started. So I'm going to have each panelist introduce themselves, and we're going to start off with our Alumni Relations Office, and the representative from there is Derek Kaufman.
Hi, Liz. Thank you. And thank you all for coming, and congratulations again. My name is Derek Kaufman, Major Gift Officer for the College of Education and Human Development. Primary function is to raise money for scholarships for all of you. So also do some alumni outreach and alumni events. So pleasure to be here tonight.
Thanks, Derek. And our next representative is from the Office of Field Placement and Certification, Krista Hunter.
Hi, everybody. I'm Krista Hunter. I'm the Director of Professional Experiences. So as Liz mentioned, our office supports you as you're getting ready for your field placements throughout your time within the college. We also support our teacher education students when it comes time to certification, your teacher certification, and just making sure that you have all the documents you need and that we can recommend you to the state for your teacher cert. And then within my office, which I'm also think you're going to be hearing from next, we do oversee career development and professional development experiences. So we want to do everything we can to make sure that you are prepared for life after college.
And you are right, Krista. Our next representative is from our Office of Field Placement, our Office of Career Development, Erica Johnston.
Thanks, Liz. Hi, everyone. My name is Erica Johnston. I serve as the Assistant Director of Career Development here in the College of Education and Human Development. I work very closely with Krista Hunter and many others on this call in providing any and all career development support throughout your program at Temple. And then in particular, as you near graduation and start looking for a teaching position or any other of the positions that follow our many majors and programs. And then also during the alumni phase. So if you need any sort of career development support after you've graduated, we're also happy to support you there with professional documents, connecting you with employers, connecting you with schools, and providing any sort of experiences or support that you might need throughout your program and after your program of study.
Thanks, Erica. And next, you're going to hear from our advising office, and that is Shania Buford.
Good afternoon, or good evening, everyone. I should say that. My name is Shania Buford. I'm an academic advisor too for the College of Education and Human Development, where my role primarily is to advise you from start to finish, first beginning at new student orientation this coming summer, or in the future summer, or over winter break, however, and each semester during your academic career at Temple. So welcome, and we look forward to meeting with you all.
Thanks, Shania. And next, we also have two current students with us, Lynn Darby and Sydney Smith. So Lynn, feel free, you can start us off.
How's it going, everyone? Yeah, I'm a current student at Temple. I'm a senior right now in my student teaching semester, so I'm pretty much at the tail end of the process. So I have a general idea of the course loads and the process to become a teacher.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sydney Smith. I am a sophomore early childhood education major here at Temple, and I'm excited to talk to you all today.
Thanks, Lynn and Sydney. Then we have our Office of College Access and Persistence, Juliet Kersey.
Hi, everyone. I'm Juliet Kersey. I serve as Assistant Dean of College Access and Persistence. And in that role, I support Philadelphia high school students on their path to college through a number of different college access programs that the college hosts, as well as support students who identify as first-generation college students to find success while they're at Temple in our programs, and also work with the local community to ensure that we have more diverse educators for Philadelphia and Pennsylvania classrooms. So welcome, I'm really glad to meet you. Thanks for being here, and I look forward to the program.
Thanks, Juliet. And then finally, we have our admissions counselor, Danielle Weiss.
Hi, everyone. My name is Danielle Weiss. I'm the admissions counselor here in the college. I work with our applicants. So you all have kind of moved past that point at this point. But, you know, I answer questions from students that are interested in our programs, assist with the application process, and kind of help with that transition to get you started here at Temple. So thank you all for joining us tonight, and congratulations again on your acceptance.
Thank you, panelists. So again, students, if you have any questions for our panelists, feel free to type them in the chat, and we're going to ask them for you in the order in which they come in. But we actually already got one, which was pretty fast. So our first question is for both Lynn and Sydney. So our students were wondering what made you choose Temple and why your particular academic program? And Lynn or Sydney, feel free, either one of you can start us off.
Okay, I can go ahead.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely. Wait, the question was again, what made us choose Temple? And then what was the second part again?
Yeah, good question. And why your particular academic program?
Okay, yeah. So what made me choose Temple? I'm really passionate about teaching inner city. I want to play a role in the closing of the achievement gap. So I felt like Temple was a solid place to get experience teaching inner city, get teaching in this in an urban environment. So that's why I chose Temple specifically. And then as far as social studies education, history is always something I've been fond of. And I just feel like history is definitely like one of the underrated subjects in school. And it's becoming increasingly relevant, just kind of like seeing history repeat itself over and over again. So teaching it in that way, I feel like is one way I can make an impact.
And then for me, so my senior year of high school, I was a part of a program here at Temple that's actually ran by Juliet Kersey. That's called Temple Education Scholars. And during that program, I got to take part in some college courses here at Temple. And that really made me decide that I wanted to become a teacher because I enjoyed taking those classes so much. One in particular was child development. I love working with younger children anyway, and just learning about how they develop was super interesting to me. So that made me decide to continue with Temple and become an early childhood educator.
Excellent, Sydney. The next question we got is actually for Juliet. And the question is, if I am a first generation college student, what resources are available to me in the college and at Temple University?
Thanks for that question. So the data that Temple has from last fall's entering class of first year students actually indicates that over 30% of Temple first year students coming into the university were first gen. So you are definitely not alone, and we're really excited to welcome you and your family to Temple. There are a lot of resources available to students who identify as first gen. There are specific student groups called Temple First is one of them that's totally dedicated to and run by other students who identify as first gen. So you're welcome to seek out that student group for peers who also understand some of the experiences that you might have and connect you to resources. There are a lot of resources on campus for all students, and we could make sure that you have those and know how to use them. So there's the Student Success Center that helps support you in tutoring around math and science, includes the Writing Center, so you can get writing support from near-peer tutors with writing. There are all sorts of resources around your mental health and well-being, the Wellness Resource Center, the Tuttleman Counseling Center. There are financial supports through Student Financial Services, lots of opportunities for student jobs and other jobs off campus. And there are also, in the event that you ever feel like you're struggling financially, there are emergency funds that you can apply for. You can access food insecurity and housing insecurity resources. So there are lots of resources both for you who identify as first gen as well as all students. And we would definitely be happy to share connections to all those resources for you.
Thanks, Juliet. And to all of our participants, feel free, you guys can absolutely type your chat or your question in the chat to everyone. That's perfectly fine. But our next question is actually for Shania. What are some important next steps to take to prepare for the start of the semester?
So important next steps. So if you have not already done so, definitely schedule a new student orientation as soon as possible. The earlier, the better. In the summer, you get not necessarily the best pick of classes because our students have to register, but you do get a good choice of classes to take for the fall semester. So at new student orientation, you get a presentation from the advising office, and then you would meet either in a group or one-on-one with an academic advisor to assist you with registering for your first set of courses at Temple. And then along with that, or at least in regard to next steps, I believe it's your placement assessment, depending on where you're entering at Temple, whether you need to do something for transfer or freshman entrance. But yeah, those are the biggest next steps. And then everything else will be discussed or sent out to you via the college in regard to the fall semester.
Thanks, Shania. And our next question is for Danielle. Do you have any programs at Temple that specialize in special education? I'm thinking about studying early childhood education and special education, but I don't really know which programs Temple has to offer.
Great question. So we actually have two undergraduate degree programs that might be interesting for you. We have our early childhood education. So that's going to prepare you to earn your teacher certification for pre-K through fourth grade. So becoming a certified teacher in the state of Pennsylvania, working with that younger population of students. But also for that special education piece, we actually now do offer a standalone undergrad program to get your bachelor's degree in special education. However, if you're kind of still undecided and you think you would want to combine both of those, we do allow our early childhood students do a concentration in special education as well. So that would also prepare you to earn that special ed cert and work with students that have special education needs in the classroom. So those are a couple different options that you could consider as you decide, which program is the right fit for you. You could also work with, if you do decide to come to Temple, you'd work with your advisor to kind of decide which one makes the most sense for your your professional goals after graduation.
Thanks, Danielle. And our next question is for Shania. Will we need to meet with an advisor to pick out course selections? And if so, when would that be?
So for the first go around, it would be at new student orientation. So for our first orientation for transfers is May 27th, and then for freshmen, it is June 23rd. So at orientation, you will meet with us to get yourself set up with a schedule for the fall semester. And then we do ask that you do meet with us at least once a semester to plan for your upcoming semester, or just to do academic planning, or just timeline planning, just to get you an idea of what classes and things you would be taking per semester, and then timeline to graduation.
Thanks, Shania. And just a reminder again to our participants, feel free to send your questions in the chat to everyone, just so we can see them. And another question we received, so this one's going to be for Danielle and Shania, so feel free to tag team this one. Does Temple offer online classes if I choose to remain at home in the fall semester?
Well, as of right now, who knows with everything changing, but as of right now, primarily classes are scheduled to be in person for the fall semester. But there are some online classes depending on the courses that you would need to take. But as my understanding, most of the major courses would be in person in classroom for the fall semester.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with what Shania said. Unfortunately, we don't have an exact answer of how every course will be delivered in the fall at this time. We all know this is such a crazy time, and the situation is changing weekly, daily. So we are trying to still make the best decision for the Temple community. But like Shania said, if you're hoping to kind of complete the majority of your semester virtually on like at home, that most likely won't be possible at this point. We are hoping to have a lot of our courses held in person, kind of getting back to a more typical semester, or as close to that as possible. But more information will be coming out about like the exact delivery format of your courses as we get closer.
Thank you both. So actually our president, Dr. Englert, he actually sent us an email about a few weeks ago just to follow up on what Danielle and Shania both stated. So we're in the process of building a fall schedule with a range of different courses that are going to be in person. And many of our faculty members will be on site to support our students, also offering some online classes too. But we are going to be continuing just to follow all the updates and alerts. And we're subject to both city and state and federal guidelines and restrictions in regards to the general public health guidance. So while we are optimistic that we're hoping to be on campus, we just are adapting the circumstances as they come. But we do definitely plan to share information with you as that continues to come together. But you guys can always follow our website and just check anything up to date related to Temple University. And that's at temple.edu/coronavirus. And then on our social media channels as well too. Cindy and Lynn, this question is for you. what's life like on campus and what types of student organizations can I get involved in?
Okay. So like, I mean, I love being on campus. I was on campus last year for my freshman year, my freshman semester. So I enjoyed it. I am currently a part of one org on campus called the Ladies of Elegance. We are an all-female non-Greek step team. And then besides that, I am a tutor mentor for Simple Education Scholars, which was the dual enrollment program that I was a part of my senior year. And I also work with this program called Jumpstart, which helps preschool students just advance in their literacy skills and be ready to enter kindergarten. So there are a lot of different orgs on campus that you can join. I would suggest going to, I forgot the name of it, but there's like this big event in the beginning of the school year that all the orgs and different programs, they hang out. So I would definitely suggest doing that as well.
Yeah, definitely. Sydney hit a lot of it. But yeah, definitely as far as life on campus, definitely whenever classes as they're looking like being in person, there's a lot of people socializing, a lot of people going around, a lot of people are friendly. A lot of people like to sit outside whenever there's nice days, different spots all over campus. So there's definitely a lot to do, and like campus, on the on-campus portion of Temple definitely is a great environment, I'd say. And then yeah, as far as organizations, definitely want to get involved. I got myself involved. I work with TES as well, but I would say just attend in the beginning of the semester, like Sydney said, the organization fair where you can just see different types of organizations and just try to find one that really fits your personality. Just because that's a great way to make friends that might not necessarily be in the same classes as you or live on the same floor as you, but make some friends that may be in different grade or different years as you, different content areas, different majors, and just a great opportunity to meet people all around the university.
Thank you both. The next question we have is for Krista. When will I be doing my student teaching, and can I choose where I complete my student teaching? As a student, will I stay at the same site throughout my placement? Sorry, that's a lot of questions, so I can repeat it if you need me to.
Maybe. The first question was, when will I be completing my student teaching? So you will complete your student teaching during your last semester with us. And then I think the next question was, can I pick my placement? Okay. So typically what happens is several semesters before that final semester when you will be student teaching, you will complete a student teaching application. On that actual application, we ask if you have a particular region where you would like to complete your student teaching. We do have some students who might want to be in the Northeast in Philadelphia, or maybe in North Philadelphia. We also have a few students who would like to be potentially in a suburban school district. So we do ask you if you have a preference. We try our hardest to place you at within the region where you have chosen as part of your preference. Not always guaranteed. It's just depending on where there is availability and where our mentor teachers are within the district or outside of the district. So again, we do try to put you in the region where you would like to be, but it's not guaranteed. We do have several placements. I would say a majority of our placements within the school district of Philadelphia. We have a wonderful partnership with them. So we like to stay within the school district as much as possible. But again, like I said, we do try to accommodate your needs as much as possible. And then I think the last part of that question was, will I stay in the same place? Yes.
Yep, exactly.
So you will stay. Okay. You will stay in the same placement for the entire semester of your student teaching. So you will be set up with a mentor teacher within the classroom and a coach who will support you for the entire semester within that classroom that you are in.
Thanks, Krista. Our next question is for Shania. I am a transfer student and this will be my first year at Temple. Is there any additional information or facts that I would need to know when starting at Temple?
Well, first is to sign up for my transfer seminar course for the fall semester. So we will be in person, so that'll be a great way to, introduce yourself to me face to face, or as close to face as we can actually be, as well as other peers within the college who are also in their first semester at Temple. Make sure as soon as possible, like I said, to schedule transfer orientation, but to also make sure that you send any transcripts and things that you've completed at previous institutions, especially if you're completing an associate's degree, just because we want to make sure that we have the most update information for when we meet at orientation and advising you for courses. So we don't want to tell you to take anything that you've already taken, or even something that may sound similar to what you have taken. So just make sure that you can get us any and all information in regard to your current student status as soon as possible, just so that we know how to advise you at orientation.
Thanks, Shania. And our next question is for Derek. Are there scholarships for undergraduate students in the college? And if so, how do I apply?
Great question. There are several scholarships for undergraduates. Most of our scholarships are for current students. We do have a few for incoming students. You don't need to apply. There is a general application process, but you don't have to apply to specific scholarships. You are a student, a recipient is matched up based on the criteria in the different donor-funded scholarships. So some could be for early childhood education, some could be for special education. Some of them are based on financial need, which we look at the FAFSA files, and then there's a bunch of other criteria. So we try and make the process as easy for you as possible. Once you fill out the general application, you're automatically eligible for any of our scholarships, again, based on those criteria that are outlined. I would just say, get good grades, because that is often an additional criteria that we use to try and select a recipient.
Thanks, Derek. And the next question we have is for Shania. Do I have to schedule a time to take my math placement test, or can I take it whenever?
No, schedule it as soon as possible. I believe it is scheduling. It is part of like your next steps channel. So do make sure that you schedule for that as soon as possible. The Alex math assessment is online. I do know that it is a timed assessment. So once you start it, you have to complete it in the one sitting. So make sure that you have everything necessary to prepare for that. And then based on the assessment or the placement level, that will depend on the level of math that you would be taking in the fall semester and where you should begin with your courses.
Thank you. And this question is for both Sydney and Lynn. Do you find it hard to get around Philly, and is public transportation easily accessible?
You want to take this one? All right, I can take this one. Just real quick, as far as getting around Philly, it's really not that difficult. Whenever I first came here, it was a little confusing at first, but once you kind of get the hang of like the Broad Street line, which is like the main subway line, and then find other ways to get around, it's pretty straightforward. Also, if you like use like the maps feature on your phone, there's most likely a way to do it where it can like show you the public transit like mode of transportation, and it's pretty straightforward and tells you like where you need to go, what stops to take, what train to get on. So it's there's a little bit of a learning curve, but it's pretty easy to pick up.
Awesome, thank you. And the next question I can actually take. And Sydney and Lynn, I was hoping you guys can also share your experiences too. But the question we received is, where do students live, and can you tell us about housing options? So most of our first year students do live on campus, and about more than 15,000 students do live on or near the main campus. On-campus housing, though, for first-year students, just keep in mind, for students that would like to start in the fall semester, there is a deposit deadline for housing in order to be guaranteed housing, and that is May 1st. So just make sure that you get your housing deposit in by that May 1st deadline in order for housing to be guaranteed. And online, you can also take virtual tours of our residence halls too. But feel free to visit that and check out those virtual tours at experience.temple.edu. But Lynn and Sydney, if you guys don't mind, can you tell us about your experience living on campus too?
Sure. So my freshman year, I lived at J&H, Johnson and Hardwick, which is a dorm on campus. It was traditional style. So I had one roommate and then I had a communal bathroom. And that was completely fine. I enjoyed that. There are also some other different styles. One of my other friends lived in another hall called White Hall, and that was more of a suite style. So she had one roommate, and then she had two suite mates, and they all shared a bathroom and within their own suite. So there's one type of living. And then now I'm currently living off campus, an off-campus apartment, which is right down the street from Temple. So Temple definitely offers a lot of different housing arrangements.
Yeah, everything Sydney said. I pretty much, I actually came here as a transfer student. So I never got the experience of living on campus here at Temple. I lived off campus, so Sydney's definitely the expert on that.
Thank you. And also, in addition to experience.temple.edu, you guys can also visit housing at housing.temple.edu as well. So this question is for both Danielle and Sydney. So Danielle give you the first part, and then Sydney, I'll give you the second half. So Danielle, what is the size of the college? And then for Sydney, how big are your early childhood classes?
Yeah, so the college itself is about 2,000 students, but that is split between our undergraduate and graduate population. So we are one of the smallest schools at Temple. So we do kind of have that close-knit community feel. You get to know the professors, the staff members, the administrators in the college, and then classes average between about 20 to 22 students. So that way you, again, are kind of getting that small classroom feel, feeling supported by the faculty members, getting to know your classmates, which is super important. And I'll go ahead and let Sydney talk a little bit more about her experience.
Yeah, so the classes, at least from my experience, was about 20 to 25 students. And I really enjoyed that because I love being able to ask my professors questions and make sure that they get answered. And I'm also familiar with a lot of the students in my class. We have other classes together, so we form that tight-knit community where I can ask them questions and we're all familiar with each other. So I love that the classes are definitely a smaller size.
Thank you both. And our next question is for Krista. After I graduate, can I get certified to teach in Pennsylvania?
Yes. So in order to become certified in the state of Pennsylvania, you first need to complete an improved teacher education program, which we have at Temple. And then from there, as soon as you have your final GPA, you will go straight onto the Pennsylvania Department of Education's website, and you can apply through their portal to receive your teacher certification. So my office will work directly with you to make sure that you have everything that you need when you're applying to for your certification. And then my office will also be the one to just review your application and recommend you specifically to the state once everything is completed.
Thanks. And also that same student was wondering if they can get certified in another state too, or is it only Pennsylvania?
Great question. So you can be certified in another state. We do recommend that you receive your certification from Pennsylvania first. Typically from there, it is a little bit easier to receive your certification from other states because we do have reciprocity with those states. So we always recommend that you get certified in Pennsylvania first. You might end up coming back here, and we want to make sure that you've already met those qualifications, so we want to get them out of the way. And then we'll help you find what you need specifically for those other states so that we can match up with what we do here in Pennsylvania.
Thank you. And this next question is for Shania. I'm graduating in May from Bucks, but I'm taking one more class this summer, so I won't have my official transcript until after July. Would it be okay to send you what I have at the end of this semester?
Absolutely. You could even at orientation provide us with an unofficial transcript, or you can send an official transcript now, just showing your in progress courses. But once you do finish up, make sure you do send us your final transcript so that we can see the grades that you received, especially if you were in a degree program. We want to make sure that if you were, going towards an associate's degree, that your associate's degree was awarded, and then it is from one of our partner schools, and we can make sure that is applied to your account.
Thank you. And our next question is for Erica. What types of jobs do College of Education and Human Development graduates pursue after graduation, and what resources are available to help students like me get jobs or internships?
Great question. So the jobs may depend on the program. So just to kind of paint a little bit of a picture, we have the career development support within the College of Education and Human Development, which could consist of one-to-one appointments or professional development programming. We have a student teacher professional development day. We also run career fairs every semester as well. And we do this in partnership with the university-wide career center, who also has a multitude of career coaches that could support you, again, with one-to-one appointments. Maybe it's career exploration and thinking about what you can do with that degree, or just trying to identify a position, or once you've identified a position independently and you're trying to get some support with your resume, your cover letter, preparing for the interview, sending a follow-up note, whatever that might entail. So we have these sort of direct service providing, as well as various events that we run as well. So in terms of what types of positions might be possible will really depend on the program and of course on your own areas of interest. So, of course, most of our teacher education students go on to become teachers, at least for some years, and then maybe they return to become school counselors or perhaps pursue school leadership. But we also have human development and community engagement, and AOD, adult organizational development major as well. So there's a multitude of career paths that you could pursue there, including human resources, nonprofit management, working with individuals with disabilities. So there's a multitude, again, of career paths that you might pursue following each of your programs.
Thanks, Erica. And our next question is for Shania. Is a foreign language required or is it optional?
That would depend on your program. If you are a secondary education world language student, then you would declare a world language. For all of our other programs, it is optional. And you can do second majors, you can do minors, and then sometimes you can do a certificate. It is all about planning it out, especially with the education courses, because some of our courses have to be done in specific semesters. So it is working just to make sure that everything can be fit in during your specified time frame.
Thank you. And our next question, this is a really good one, is for Krista. Another one about student teaching. Would there ever be a chance to do your student teaching in a DODEA school, which is an overseas military-based school?
So that is a good question. And I actually don't think I've ever been asked that question before. So I don't entirely know the best answer to support you, but what we can do is connect with the Pennsylvania Department of Education and just ask them specifically if that would meet the requirements for our student teaching program. And then we can follow up with you specifically just with once we learn a little bit more from them.
Thank you. And Shania, we actually have another question for you. As a transfer student, will I be able to study abroad before I start student teaching? And if so, how do I go about applying?
Yes, so it's all about planning, again, when your time of graduation would be and how much flexibility you have within your program, and then also where you would like to study abroad. So you would meet with an advisor, discuss which program you would like to go on, whether that be a Temple program, one of our campuses, Temple Rome, Temple Japan, or Spain. And then we would work with you and then Education Abroad office to make sure that you're taking the correct courses in the correct semesters, all of which does need to be completed before we do student teaching, because everything has to be done prior to your last semester so that you are able to student teach with no other requirements remaining aside from student teaching.
Thank you. And we received another question for Juliet. I got an email about a program called Ready to Fly. Can you tell me more about this program?
Thank you so much for the segue. So actually, I was remembering that I wanted to make sure to share with everyone, if you are an incoming first-year student and you identify as a first-generation college student, so that means that neither of your parents or guardians has graduated from college, then we have a special opportunity for you called Ready to Fly. And it's an opportunity for you to start 2 of your fall 21 classes early. So you would start these classes in the first week of August of 2021. They would meet virtually and they would meet synchronously. So you would be with your class at a particular time of the day on the days per week that it runs, but you would be meeting the class online. So right now we have our first year seminar experience class that's being offered. It's a 1-credit class. So that would be one of the classes that you take. And essentially that's a way to really guide you through and introduce you to various university resources and how to best set yourself up as a college student. And then the other class that we are likely going to be offering is a gen ed class, a general education class, which is one of the foundational classes that you have to take over a number of different areas. This would be a U.S. Society Gen Ed, so it would help you meet that requirement. And it's called Why Care About College? Higher Education in American Life. So you and the others who would enroll for both of these classes simultaneously would get to know each other, get to know the faculty members teaching those classes. Just a chance to start early. There's no additional cost to participate in the program. It's all kind of absorbed with your fall tuition payments. You would start early August and the classes would actually end before fall break, which is our Thanksgiving week break. So it just gives you a little bit of latitude on the back end of your semester to not have as much going on as you approach finals, like the typical finals week for the fall semester, and then a chance to kind of meet another group of maybe 25 or so students who also identify as first-gen students and give you a leg up as you get started. So if you're interested, you can certainly complete the inquiry form link that you got in that email, or you're welcome to reach out to me. I put some information in the chat box. And also all the advisors know about the program and are able to support students with interest in registering for those 2 class sections. So I hope you take a look at it and I'd love to have you join.
Thank you, Juliet. And we're actually going to have a little bit more information about that program at the end of our panel too. But another question we received, and I can actually answer both of these. One of them is, am I eligible for the financial aid package I was awarded if I am a part-time student? So it will actually depend on what your financial aid offer is comprised of, but you can email us at educate@temple.edu and we'll talk about that a little bit more specifically. And we can even set up a one-on-one virtual appointment too. And then another question that we received is, who would I contact to appeal for more money towards my education? So since there's a few different types of financial support for undergraduate students, it's going to depend. So if you're looking for more merit scholarship money, which may be awarded from our Office of Undergraduate Admissions, you could actually email askanowl@temple.edu. But if it's in regards to College of Education and Human Development financial support, you can email us, and same thing, we can talk one-on-one to see if any additional funding might be available. But our next question is actually for Krista. Do we need clearances for practicum classes?
So yes, so all students enrolled in College of Education and Human Development courses that require fieldwork must submit updated clearances annually. So we require them every summer by July 1st. So then that way you are cleared for the entire school year. You are required to submit for our 4 clearances. So the Pennsylvania State Police Criminal History Record Check, the Pennsylvania Department of Public Welfare Child Abuse History Clearance, the FBI fingerprint check, and our PPD TB test. So every year we'll have you renew those. So then that way you are cleared for the entire academic year.
Thanks, Krista. And the next question we received is for Shania. Does course selection and placement tests interfere with being in the honors program?
No interference. Just make sure it depends. So a couple different things. one thing I did not mention earlier, if you are a current student and taking AP exams, please do make sure you have those scores sent to Temple as soon as possible, because that could eliminate courses you have to take in the fall semester. If you're a high school student and have taken dual enrollment courses, again, make sure you send that transcript to Temple as soon as possible. Placement test will not interfere with your course selection. If you're an honor student, it could place you out of certain levels of English, but won't necessarily place you out of a math if it is required for your program. But the good thing to note for honor student in regard to course selections, you do register at the very beginning of priority registration. So you have super priority, so you're actually registering before seniors, and you're registering right along with graduate students, so that it is a plus in regard to being an honor student. And then also there are specific honor requirements that you would need to fulfill via the honors program as well. So I would just recommend, if you have specific honors questions and just requirements and things for their programs, just to email honors@temple.edu. And they also have a special orientation as well that they will be able to assist you with scheduling.
Thanks, Shania. And we only have time for about 2 more questions. So the next one that we have is for Derek. What types of opportunities are there for students to connect with alumni?
Great question. Right now, we recently launched a group on OWL Network, which is Temple University's platform for both alumni and current students. And that's probably the best way for current students and alumni to connect, whether it's just for networking, for mentorship, coaching, regional clubs, things like that. We do have Temple College of Education and Human Development does have a LinkedIn page. We have social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So all those are great options to connect with your fellow Temple Owls and CEHT grads.
Perfect, thanks so much. And another question that we received is for Lynn and Sydney. What advice would you have for incoming students?
You want to take this one first, Sydney?
Sure. So one advice I would say would just be to be open-minded and try to join a lot of orgs or different programs if you can, like Len mentioned before. Coming into Temple, I knew some students, but I definitely met a lot of my friends that I currently have now through the different orgs that I joined. So I would just say join some orgs and just be open to meeting new people.
Yeah, definitely. Whenever you're coming to college, it's almost kind of like getting a fresh slate, like a new start kind of. So you definitely want to go around, meet as many people as possible, try new things, be open. I would recommend, if you're coming to Temple, definitely explore the city, get out, don't just be someone who stays around on campus, but see everything Philadelphia has to offer, and really realize, like, these 4 years, everything that is available to you, you should definitely take advantage of. So really just try to, especially like your first semester, find out what's available to you, find out things you like that's available to you, and really just kind of try to find a groove for you to get yourself into, just because the foundation you lay your first year is going to pretty much be very impactful on how the next 3 or so years goes on after that. So definitely be cognizant of everything you do, and make sure that you're getting out there.
Thank you. And then I'm gonna follow up with one last question, and I'm gonna let our students know there were 2 questions. I do apologize we couldn't get to just because we're running out of time. But I'm gonna ask anyone whose questions we didn't get to, just make sure you follow up with us at educate@temple.edu, and we'll be sure to get you in touch with the appropriate representative, or it might be something that we can answer too. So I do apologize we didn't get to everyone's questions tonight. We ran out of time. But like I said, definitely follow up with us at educate@temple.edu, and we'd be happy to either set up a one-on-one appointment or get you in touch with the appropriate panelist. But we wanted to thank everyone for joining us tonight, especially our panelists. Thank you so much for coming. Again, congratulations to all of our participants. And just a few quick reminders for our participants. Make sure you submit your deposits by that May 1st deadline, and especially the housing deposit in order to be guaranteed housing. And make sure you're always following your Next Steps channel on your TU portal as well, and completing all of those steps so that way you can get registered for orientation. And one other thing we just want to let our students know, just to follow up with what Juliet stated, we do have a Ready to Fly program. With this particular program, as Juliet stated, it's a unique program for first-generation college students that have been admitted to the College of Education and Human Development. So we want to keep this slide up as you guys are heading out. Definitely take a look at it. If you guys have any questions or would like to request more information, you can do so at education.temple.edu/ready to fly. And we're going to be hosting some virtual information sessions about that this summer too. But if you don't have any other questions, feel free to log out. I do apologize, we ran out of time, but like I said, feel free to email us at educate@temple.edu. And thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations.